All right, now moving ahead with our next session on defending the boundaries of the nation. This focuses on the vital contributions of women in the armed forces as we gather to recognize the unwavering dedication, the remarkable skills and unyielding spirit that women bring to the defense and security of our nation. This session aims to shed light on the evolving role of women in the armed forces and the strides they have made in forging a path towards gender parity. Now, we salute the brave women who have stepped forward to serve the nation. Without further ado, now I'd like to invite on our stage our esteemed panelists for this session, Lieutenant Colonel Anila Khatri. Lieutenant Colonel Anila Khatri is the first in her family to join the armed forces. She joined NCC in a college. She got to learn and live like an army officer. And of course, she was an army officer in making back then. She was inspired to make her passion her profession and attended a camp at the Officers Training Academy in Chennai. And she thereafter decided to join the Indian Army. After the graduation, as an army woman, she devotes her time and energy to keeping her country safe. I'd also like to invite Lieutenant Commander Tushina Thakur, Indian Navy. Lieutenant Commander Thakur is an education officer who got commissioned in January 2012 after completing her ab initio training at Indian Naval Academy. In 11 years of service, she has carried out roles in administrative, training and recruitment activities of Indian Navy and was also posted as an instructor in the National Defense Academy in Kadakwasla, where she was instrumental in setting up the BTEC curriculum for the cadets for the very first time, for which she has also received a commendation from the Chief of Integrated Defense of Staff to the Chairman, Chiefs of Staff Committee. Also, I'd like to invite to the stage Wing Commander Vyomika Singh. She is an accomplished helicopter pilot with more than 2,500 flying hours across all varieties of terrain, including specializing in high-altitude terrains of Jammu and Kashmir and the Northeast. Wing Commander Vyomika has led numerous massive rescue missions, including a most recent one in November 2020 in Arunachal Pradesh. In 2021, she has also successfully summited the Mount Manirang Peak at 21,650 feet as part of the Tri-Services All-Women Mountaineering Expedition. For her outstanding professionalism and diligence, she has been awarded by the Chief of Air Staff and Air Officer Commanding-in-Chief of an Operational Command. So please welcome our wonderful ladies here with a big round of applause. Thank you so much. And joining them is, of course, Suyesh Asavan, a senior anchor, Republic Network.
Thank you so much, ladies. I feel extremely fortunate that I'm sitting in your company. And like I said, so many girls watching this show today want to hear your story. They want to know because they want to be like you when they grow up. So whatever questions I ask you, I want all three of you to answer and share your story and how it was while you were growing up. Firstly, did you always want to be in the forces because you are the first from your family to be a part of the forces, and how has the experience been like for all these years of service?
Good evening. I think the experience has been really tremendous, terrific, and exhilarating. I was in class 6th when it happened, that eureka moment. I realized that I want to be the pilot and own the sky. We were having a class discussion on the meaning of names. My name is Vyomika. Vyom means the sky, so I told so. So somebody from the back of the class, she shouted, "So you own the sky, you're Vyomika." That day, my class teacher said, yes, I think she'll own the sky, and I owned that idea, and since that day, I wanted to be a pilot. Yes, as I grew up till, this was 1991 or 2, till that time, there were no pilots coming into the Air Force, and the only place I knew that time, pilots are only in the Air Force. I used to, later on, as growing up, school time, I went through the employment news, where all the the advertisements would come. And I was a little disheartened, rather very sad, unmarried male candidates only. Then later on when I graduated, I did engineering. Final year in engineering, I got to know, yes, you can get it through UPSC. Then I applied for SSB, and then that moment happened when I was later awarded the wings, and I became a helicopter pilot. And since then, I think I've never looked back. It's a roller coaster of experience, especially being a helicopter pilot. You take on variety of roles. I've flown sea level to heights of 18,000 feet, done a lot of casewacs, and made decisions of leaving this person and taking this person, and then maybe come back next day, seen the weather, negotiated it. And I think that's about it. It's been an excellent experience, and I love it. Thanks.
Hello. Sorry. So good evening, everyone. And I would like to start it's a matter of pride for my family and me that I'm the first one to join the Navy. And I really don't have any background of military. Most of my family members, my father, they are from central government or public sector. So I was the only one who took an initiative to join the noble service and join the armed forces and breaking the old barriers in the thought. So I would like to submit that how I get introduced to Navy, no idea at all what is armed forces. And if somebody talk about it to me, that what is armed forces, I think that it is army. So it was my best friend. She introduced me to the services. She introduced me to his elder brother who is from armed forces. And within a conversation with him, I get that ignition and a spark to know about military. So intrigued by the defense lifestyle, the discipline culture, and of course the mesmerizing uniform, I decided, rather I volunteered, that definitely I'm going to put my next life or my entire life dedicated to the services, and that's how I joined the Navy. And I would like to brought out, since I have a completely civil background, so transitioning to Navy was the biggest challenge for me. And the biggest difficulty, and I think that I can pass through, is the initial training phase. So it tested my potential. I experienced that I have to stretch out my limit, suffer that lack of sleep, go through the training day and night, and there's no time to rest. And at the same time, you have to be academically sound and have to face the physical training as well. So I think that tested my limit. And I believe firmly that it's the training structure of the Navy that is so meticulously and thoughtfully designed that I can actually transit smoothly from the civil world to the Navy culture. So I'm really proud that I'm here.
A warm good evening to all of you. I'm audible? Yes. Yeah. A warm good evening to all of you. So as you said, the first one in the army, I don't think it's a great deal because there are women far and few. By default, you become the first one in the family or the first woman in the family to join the armed forces. The motivation for me was the uniform itself. It was the charm of the uniform. I really liked men in uniform. I mean, there was a different aura about them. I wanted to be a part of it too. And as God would have it, I had parents who never, objected to it. I mean, when I had told them that I wanted to join the armed forces, they didn't even bat an eyelid. They were like, okay with it, please go ahead. My mother was a little concerned though. I mean, that was all about it. But right from the time I was in college and I joined NCC, this thing firmed in. And then it was just Indian Army that I'd wanted to be a part of. And since the commissioning, I can't remember a dull day. Every day is full of some event or the other. And even when I'm getting ready in the morning and I look at myself in the mirror in the uniform, it adds a zing to the mood and it stays throughout. And it carries you through. So it's been a wonderful 17 years that I've had in the army. Thank you.
Wonderful. This is exactly what I wanted to come to next. The mesmerizing uniform, the aura of the uniform. And what was that first day like, and the change that it brought in you from the girl that you were to the woman that you became after you wore the uniform, and the sense of responsibility that you feel towards the nation, which of course was always there. But how was the change like?
Suddenly, I joined the academy 5th of July 2003. It's been about 18 plus years now. When I went to the academy, I was going to enjoy. It was an adventure, the train journey, entering the academy. And when you entered the academy, there was a lot of things that the activities that we do at academy are now offered at a prize at a farmhouse, sack race, or you roll in the mud. Those were the activities which were taken as punishments. Actually not punishments, but they were taken as physical strengthening exercises rather they were told to us like punishments. So there were people who took it as punishment. I loved it. At 23 years of age, after 4 years of engineering, 1 year of working outside in public sector, you're telling a woman to go roll in the mud and not enjoy it. So I think that was the part. I enjoyed every bit of my academy. It brought out the athlete in me. I won gold in all the track and field events that could be. Rather, they limited me to enter only in 4 events. And coming from you, thank you, ma'am. And then you realize there's so much power in you. And that you could only make out when you do it. And I think that's what uniform gave me. It gave me a lot of confidence of doing things that nobody imagines that you can do. You can climb the rope only with those 2 hands. You can lift your weight with those 2 hands. Yes, you can do a cartwheel at 40 years of age also. So I think that is what is there. And with this strength, not only physically, it is mental strength that you gain at academy. There you are pushed to so much corners. Rather, you are pressurized too hard on the corners that your brain is I think part of your brain is activated. And every day there is a new, now in the service, not only in the academy times, now every day a new challenge comes your way, new decision making. Your skills are growing every day. And I think that's what the uniform has given me. It has given me that inner strength that I can handle anything, come what may. Aren't they? It's like that. Thank you.
Talking about what I was and what I am now, I think it's a phase shift. It's the other side of the mirror. I never knew that I have those capabilities in me, which I realized after getting trained from the services. So I tell you one instance. Then when I was in a college, and in a college there was some sports meet as a part of the annual function. So none of my friends took me in the kho-kho part or a sack race or anything because then I'm pathetic. That is the word I can actually count on. So after joining the academy and stretching out myself, realizing that I have this thing in me, and why couldn't I see that? Because maybe I never had exposure. I underestimated me. So that changed me. Today I'm a fitter, smarter, a person, I'm a leader. That proud that you hold when you call yourself a leader, you're leading the men. It itself is a different level of satisfaction you're going to. And the spark that you see in the young children when they see you donning this uniform is something unmatchable too. So I would like to say that Navy or the armed forces gives you the way of life. At the end of the day, you're confident, you are ready to take on any challenges that comes to you, and they give you so much of a training and so much of exposure that you mastered in almost every aspect. They've been not just giving you the task, but at the same time they're training you for the task at every scale, at every levels. So yes, it is like that.
So, Suesha, for me, it was not much of a physical difference because before I joined army, I was playing basketball nationals and all. So physically, I found it quite easy. But when I got commissioned and I joined my regiment, I was the first woman, rather I'm the only one in the regiment, so about 650 men there. So it was a new setup for me. And then you had people almost double your age waiting for your orders. So it strikes you, and then it's a certain sense of responsibility that comes in, because what you're going to tell them next probably, would be the difference between their life and death. So you feel quite responsible for them because they're actually looking forward to you. And luckily so, they don't discriminate man or woman. You are their leader. So again, that's an added thing on to you. But as Tushina brought out, that the training is such that you prepared for it. You actually expecting things to happen that ways. And while you are in the training academies, if I may just bring out, when we join the training academies, we're very proud of our achievements, whatever little we might have achieved. And when we enter there, the training academies, the first thing that goes out is that vain pride. Our egos are crushed. You are, nobody there. So, that is what makes the army or the officers more humble, because you realize that these are small little things and they really don't matter. So, once you've been through that training part of it, you really become more humble. And that is how your interactions also become more honest with your men. Because when you're standing in front of your men, you can't pretend. If I would say 10 months in a year we spend with them, year on year, the entire regiment, we know each other inside out. You just can't pretend in front of them. So you really have to be your honest self. And for that you to really, keep at it, keep improving yourself, keep pushing your own limits. You can't be found wanting anywhere. So what you were in the civil world and what you are in the army is absolutely different, I would say.
Absolutely, and this is what a lot of girls today would want to know, since we are also on this platform today, and Stree Shakti is what we are discussing. In the last decade or so, not only has there been higher participation of women in the defense forces, but also increased opportunities. And like you're saying that today a woman officer is equally in par with a male officer. How have you, and you have been in service for 18 years now, what can you share about the internal scenario of being in the forces as a woman officer?
As a woman officer, that's what I said. In training, you're all rolling in the mud together. Male cadets, female cadets. You're doing it together. So he sees she can do it. She sees he can do it. There is no disparity. She said that the egos are crushed. Even the male ego or the female ego is crushed. You're all a team. The camaraderie at academy is the highest. Rather, after a few years, the NDA cadet, the girl cadets would also speak to each other, what squad are you from? That camaraderie, which I see in male cadets now, even when they're air marshals, they still ask, what squad are you? So I'm waiting for that kind of camaraderie that will come up in women officers when they become air marshals very soon. So, coming back to the question, see, if you realize we are drawn from the same part of the society. It's a section which has been cleared and we come as officers in the armed forces. So yes, the biases, the prejudices, everything from the society in male as well as female minds, they also come along. But the beauty of the armed forces is this: the male mind, whatever prejudice, whatever bias he has in the mind, he works on it, and I think, plateaus it, or what I can say, I'm not getting the word now, that he regulates it inside, and he understands, yes, she can also do it, I can also do it. We're both in the same race. And thanks to the organizational policies now, everything is equal. There is no disparity. You are there, you perform, you get higher marks, you are there. It's all merit-based, it is all performance-based. The gender does not, I think, figure anywhere. Earlier, maybe yes, some disparity used to be there. Now there's nothing. Everybody is given equal opportunity. That's the word. Thank you.
As ma'am rightly brought out, that right from the day we start the training, we are training shoulder to shoulder with our male counterparts. So this term of, male and female really don't exist now. There might be some old times when there were less percentage of women in the services and a larger part of the male. That time maybe there were challenges, but now when I personally comment on it, when I joined the services, I feel it really comfortable. I never had this, I never made feel like that I'm a woman or I am a different entity altogether. Nothing like that. And we were given equal opportunities. If you see the level of opportunities, the intake of the women's, right from the officers to the Agniveers, all the branches, all the sections are open. It's just one has to volunteer, merit it out, qualify, and prove the worth. So there is no partiality or any distinguishment between anyone. And it's very comfortable. I think it's a more secure environment to, and the best service to put into, because it gives you a way of life. It's make you a smarter person and a responsible person as altogether.
So Yesha, if you're asking this question, that are you treated like women in the armed forces, that's a wrong question. I mean, there's no.
I was only asking what your experience is like, and rather, to dispel any myths that exist in the society today, vis-a-vis the forces or vis-a-vis the whole man-woman disparity, if it does. So rather, I mean, for someone who's on the inside, can dispel those myths.
Yeah, I will take this opportunity, as ma'am also brought out and Thakur said, that you are given equal opportunities and you are equally tasked. There is no girl treatment or woman treatment to you. So you will have your equal tasks as depending on your rank or your appointment, and there is no leeway given to you because of your gender. Yes. So it's all the same. It's all the same for the officers, I will say, because that is how it is in the armed forces.
Yeah, and that I say is the beauty and the power of our forces. But like I said, we've been interacting with women across various sections through this day. And to really understand the challenges they face, especially when it comes to a working woman. Now, be it a woman in the corporate sector, someone like you who's in the defense forces, an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, but it eventually, and through these conversations, I've realized that it eventually boils down to a woman being asked, how do you manage your personal life and your work? Do you face challenges at your work because you have to look after your family? And those very many gender stereotypes that are attached in one sense. Do you also feel the same? And I do want to ask you this question, especially of, the challenges as a working officer in terms of, moving to, changing cities every 3 years, etc., etc. So in that sense, how do you also balance a family life?
See, I think everybody is juggling through it. Even my husband has been juggling through it, family work. But yes, see, the role of a mother of a woman or a woman in the house, yes, she is the one who thinks about the nourishment after the child is born. Yes, only she can give that kind of the care that is required for the young baby that time, yes. But the support is always there, the support of your husband, your families. And there have been times when I have taken off and I have into the weather sometimes and then not been able to come back the same day. 3 days my aircraft is stuck somewhere and my daughter had been taken care of by my neighbors. So the juggling part is, yes, there, because see, when you have so much on your plate, you have to manage your time, your priorities, and your commitment to your duty, as well as of the duty of being a mother. Yes. But then, sometimes when you see the child also understand, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister, my mother, my husband, all have pitched in. My neighbors have pitched in. There were times when, after my daughter was born, I had a terrible backache, and my husband was in Congo on a mission. I called up my neighbor, ma'am, please come, I cannot take care, I need to sleep. Both of them, they came, they cuddled my daughter. She said, okay, go, Vyomaka, go sleep. I locked my door, I slept for 4 hours straight. They took care of my daughter. That's how it is. I think in armed forces, you actually don't earn the ranks or this, you earn a family. You earn another family which is there. I'm sure both of them agree. We are just in different colors, but I think we are all part of one family. So I think that is how, when you realize in the profession that I am, my in-laws, my parents, even my daughter now, she understands that I cannot have an inattentive second in the cockpit. So that's how, knowing that this all is happening, I have this support, flying in the cockpit becomes a kind of meditation. It is away from all those things with that self-assurance that yes, I have full support and things will be absolutely fine. I can concentrate on my work, be it on ground, in air, take risks, make the correct judgments, and come back safe. I think that's it.
So coming to the challenges that you're asking for, so I'll give my personal views to it. So as ma'am rightly brought out, we are mothers. So I have a responsibility primarily towards my family because I'm a mother now. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. And at the same time, I have to be diligently deliver my work at being an officer. So there is no negotiation to it. And challenges are there, of course. Challenges are there. But personally, they're not significantly that difficult for me. I believe, as I brought out earlier, that Navy is not just a service. It's a way of life, It gives you a very secure and safe environment for your family to stay. Apart from that, you have your Navy Wellness and Welfare Associations, which provides the welfare amenities so that you can work with peace at your mind. So I believe whatever the work-life balance I'm able to attain and, dedicatedly focus on my work, go to office with a peace of mind that my child is being taken care of, and do my work and possibly doing it well, I think I get rewarded. And the reward that I got from Navy is I got a permanent commission. So I think that happened only because I got that environment, that peace in my mind, that work-life balance, that is there in the services. So I think it's like that.
I think, Sueshu, it's more or less the same. When I was blessed with Aditi, my daughter, I had this dilemma of whether I continue serving or I quit. But I was on maternity leave and the soldier in me actually grew restless. So I knew I will have to continue because if I have to have a happy family, I have to be happy myself. And for the soldier in me to be happy, I had to continue soldiering. So I wanted to continue, but it couldn't have been possible without my family and my organization support. I would say before Aditi was born, Army was the priority one in my life. And once Aditi came in my life, it's a daily fight, I would say. Not that it's been settled, it's a daily fight. And, the love for her just can't let us slip to the second pedestal in priority. So it's just balancing sometime this side and sometime the profession. But I'm really thankful to the organization, the way it supported, and my family. I mean, my family really supported me to continue my passion, and my organization really helped me take care of Aditi as well as I wanted to.
Wonderful, wonderful. Would you believe that, especially when it comes to ideas around gender neutrality, that has of course changed, and with the internet and with the access to information and the day and age that we are living in and the successful careers that all of you have, all three of you are mothers, will this in any way change the style of upbringing for you as a mother, to what you teach your child vis-a-vis how you have been raised and the background that you had?
See, I don't want to annoy my parents. I've been raised quite well. I think that's the best way I could have been raised. And I would like to instill the same values in Aditi as well. And, some things that I would like to change probably is not in the way I was raised, but probably in the society. I would not want her to, you know, experience eve teasing while she's traveling in a public transport, if that can change probably. I would, you know, want her to be more secure, feel more secure when she moves out. I think that's, as a society, the mindset has to change. That's about it. I mean, that's how it reflects.
So I have a different take on it. Like, I'm the only girl child in my family, and being the eldest one. So I was pampered a lot, and rather cocooned by my parents. Like, I was born and brought up in Ghaziabad, and at that times, Ghaziabad is in news for good reasons. Huh? So they were very protective. Even they used to drop me to the college. My mom used to wait all the way when I was doing my college, and my friends used to make fun of me, like, your mom's still coming and picking you up. But that was the situation. And my dad, because he was very protective and don't want me to get affected by any of the wrong things, never let me, you know, go for a picnic, maybe participate in any of the adventure activity, or maybe go out and play. But now, you know, and one thing I like to mention is, like, I'm married to a naval officer, and his upbringing is entirely different. So, of course, Navy has brought a substantial amount of changes in me. He's also one of the person who brought a lot of changes because he's very confident. He's very, he's a kind of, you're a girl, you need to know everything. He's the one who taught me how to drive a car. He's the one who taught me how to drive a bike. And he makes, my mom always used to complain that what you have done to her. Look, but I'm self-confident, and he holds it proud. And I believe that my parenting style to my child is different. I'm much more confident. I want to give her all the opportunity. I'm not scared. I want her to be bold, stubborn, and ready to take on the challenge. And it should not be scared of anything coming up. She'd be like at the forefront, I'll take it. So that is the kind of difference I personally feel is change and happening in how I'm grooming my child.
My parents are both in the education side. Mother had worked in NCERT and my father retired as a school principal. A lot of emphasis on education at home. We are 3 sisters and 1 younger brother. I am the middle daughter. And I think being from education background, my parents both, they just told me one thing: we have no money, this education is your wealth. So that's how I think the whole food for thought, that this is your nourishment. This is how you create in your mind. Please enjoy the freedom of thought, the freedom of writing. They both write, they both are poets. And I can proudly say my younger sister is a famous poet. My daughter is going to be a poet very soon. And I write sometimes. So I think this freedom of be able to think and not stereotype your thinking, and you can write about or think about or speak about anything at your home is free. If some, it's generally a taboo if a girl is given an anonymous letter during Valentine's Day at your home with a chocolate or a red rose. My dad would get it for me. Ki ye dekho, aaj ye aaya hai, let's open it, let's read. So, you know, it was that kind of an open freedom. So I think I was raised fearless, and that's what I think I have become. And I would like that my daughter also becomes fearless. And I think all thanks to my mom, and, you know, 80% to my mom, 10% to my dad too, and my sisters, but I think thanks to mom. I hope she's listening now. And one more thing I want to say, what I would like to change is, everything is very subtle. Parents love their child, parents give them all freedom, they don't check them, but they don't actually speak out also. I think there has to be a little more of the said things, more of, yes, I am with you, yes, I love you, I like you doing this. That appreciation into children right now when they are so much exposed to social media, and they are gaining a lot of passive things which is coming. Okay, if I look like this, I'll look beautiful. If I go through this filter, I'll look beautiful. If I do this, I'll be appreciated. How many likes do I have? I think that appreciation should come at home. That thing, mother, father, elder sister, the teachers and other supporters can only bring out. And that confidence when you instill in a person, when he or she knows internally that she is good enough, I think that's what matters. That parents can do from the very beginning. That's the change I want now.
Absolutely. And you know, as proud as I am of all of us and all the women sitting here, I certainly believe we are in changing times. And I feel that, you know, our daughters are going to be bigger and stronger and fierce and bolder and most definitely, yes. As it's time for us to wrap this session, your message to all the young girls watching you who, like I've said, want to be like you.
I think you almost said it in my previous reply, but I decided that I would say this to young minds if I was asked here. I think you need to dream as high as possible. You need to dream and not just dream on it. Find out how you can realize that dream. The avenues to find out are so much now. The internet is there. Our time, we had no internet. Whatever we could ask people around, whatever we could read in newspaper, it was limited to the knowledge that people around me had. But the knowledge that now the youngsters can gain is beyond, I think, what telephones can give. It's internet is available. So I think make use of that and never be depressed or never say that one option is gone, ab to mera kuch nahi hoga. You know, there's always second option. That means that you're meant for something much higher. So whenever you're going next step, you remember it's a staircase. You're only getting higher. It's nowhere that you're not going to drown anywhere. It's only growing. Every defeat is a growth. That's what I have learned from my 18 plus years and whatever experience I have. I think you can put these words to use. Thank you.
What I would like to say is, like what I follow for myself. You should always aim high. And then you decide how to reach that aim. That is very important. And never miss an opportunity. Whenever an opportunity knocks at your door, just grab it. You never know what compliments it is bringing along. And also, since I'm from services, so I want the young people to volunteer because now the services are opening up numerous options, you know, a numerous opportunity to join as an officer, as a Agniveer. And I just wanted to echo the message of my present CNS that do your job, but do it well. So that's how I want to summarize it.
All right, as you said, Suesha, there are, women and young girls who aspire to join the armed forces. To them, I would like to say that this profession of soldiering is very unique. It's unlike any other profession. You know, here a soldier is supposed to train for war, fight and win it. And there are no individual battles that we fight. We fight as a unit. In fact, the unit's izzat, as we say, is the driving force, is the motivation for the soldier to fight. And the bullet treats everybody alike. There is no discrimination. For our adversary, a man, woman is same. So there can be no discrimination based on caste, creed, religion or gender. So while that is true, so the armed forces cannot be made a means for gender equality or women empowerment. So as a woman, if you wish to join the army, yes, the army needs soldiers. There is no men or women that the army needs. It needs soldiers. So if as a woman you feel you are a good soldier material, you must join the army. If you feel that this is your passion, you really want to enjoy the privilege of wearing arms for your country, you must join. You should not join the armed forces because you want to prove yourself better or equal to somebody. That should not be the reason. It should not be to break some glass ceiling. No. If it is your passion, you must join the armed forces. And when you do so, you must ensure that you know that armed forces, it's really physically demanding. It's a physically demanding career. It's emotionally draining. You see somebody from your regiment dying, it's like really crushing. You don't stay with your families. Rather, when they would need you the most, probably you will not be there. So you must know all these things, keep it in your mind. And after all this, if you still feel it is worth it, then you must join. army would need such soldiers. Thank you.
But all three of you portray power, resilience, force, and such an example that you set for every young girl who aspires to be like you, women officers in the Army, Navy, and Air Force. I want to thank you all for being a part of this chat today. And like I said, you know, we need to have more and more of these conversations because it just opens up so many minds. And this is the youth of our country watching all of us. So thank you once again, and thank you for being you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful session, Suyesha, and our three women in uniform who has made our country proud. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the final session of the Republic Dialogues, a thought leadership series, and this next fireside chat on empowered leaders fostering empowered companies will delve on exploring the transformative impact that empowered women can have on shaping and driving successful and forward-thinking companies. In an era of diversity, inclusion and gender equality taking the center stage, it's crucial to recognize the invaluable role that women play in not only propelling their own careers, but also in shaping the culture, innovation, and the overall success of the organizations that they are part of. So I would now like to welcome on stage Ms. Upasana Thakur, co-founder and COO MobiQuick. She's also the chairperson of the MobiQuick board and the executive director. A big round of applause for Ms. Thakur. She has co-founded MobiQuick with a vision to transform the digital financial services and payments landscape in